Hey, greetings. This is Stan Scrabbit from Jamestown Community College. And today we're going to talk a little bit about leveraging Twitter in the classroom. See different ways that we can use it. What the heck is Twitter? How we want to be able to use it in the classroom. So right now, I am by myself in this empty classroom, and hopefully there's some folks that will see this later. But let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen, and I have a presentation to walk through, and we'll go ahead and do that. So what we have, Twitter in education. This presentation happens to be Twitter friendly. And hi, just getting started. Very good. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Twitter, how to leverage it in the classroom. I was just indicating that my presentation was Twitter friendly, which means that you can send all the notes to Twitter. So we'll wait until projector comes on up. So how are you? Well, thanks for coming. I was feeling lonely.
Oh, no problem. Is anyone in Olean then, or?
I have no idea.
Oh,
so
okay.
They probably caught it online if they're going to catch it at all.
Oh, okay.
Today's a busy day. So, and you are?
I'm Jane Barber from
Jane
recruitment.
Barber. Okay.
Jane.
Okay. Very good. Well, recruitment. Twitter is important for that. So, yeah, like I said, on the screen, yeah, I have my Twitter name and hashtag that I use. So anything that we send, we try to collect it there. So you probably can't go anywhere in the world without running into Twitter. If you watch TV shows now, if you watch, you go to the websites and the news, there's always something to share on Twitter, which makes it great for sharing content with everyone. And this presentation is really geared for educators, but a lot of folks can also benefit from it. Can you see that okay? Or? Mm-hmm. Okay. So for educators, there's a concern if I add a new tool in the classroom, is it going to be used? Is it going to be a waste of time? They want to get the energy to use it. So they don't really want to waste their time introducing a new tool, right? Because they just want to pass content. So what we're going to do is look at strategies for using this tool. So I'm going to also explain Twitter, and that's what I'm going to do up front, but then also ideas for leveraging it. We can talk about it in terms of recruiting also, okay? All right, so for Twitter, it's about understanding the tool. So I like to see it kind of explain Twitter as a radio station, that you have the ability to dial into a radio station that you can follow. So 103.9 that you dial in, you listen to the content on that. But it's kind of a radio station on steroids because you can tune in to thousands of stations at one time. And so you can isolate them, but you can listen to them all at one time, and you have all this traffic going by. Messages are in real time. If you happen to watch the debates last night or the State of the Union, there were folks commenting in real time on what they were seeing and adding to the conversation, right? So what folks were saying on the stage, you can get a feel for what people were actually thinking there. They're arranged chronologically. So an individual may have multiple conversations going on at one time, and when you're watching their stream, there's a whole disconnect because they're having these multiple conversations. So it can be a little chaotic if you don't know how to harness it. Each message is 140 characters, right? It's very succinct. You have to get your message out very tightly. But the nice thing is you can put images in it. You can put links into it. You can direct them to where you want to go. And so ideally, you want to have a site that you're pointing individuals back to all the time, right? So in terms of recruiting, for example, where do I sign up, right? Here's where I want to send you, right? But you may want to be sending them to some information that then points them to there. So Twitter is public. There are possibilities where you can have direct messages one-to-one. Just assume that it's public. So whatever you put out there, the rest of the world will see, and good, bad, or ugly. And that's come to haunt some folks because they thought it was like instant messaging between one person and another, and it's not. Just assume that it's all public. Twitter, the nice thing about Twitter is you can use basically anything to send a message. There's a application for your computer. You can use an iPad or a tablet. You can do your smartphone, and even a cell phone, a dumb phone. You can send it with an SMS number. Okay, and that way you can get your messages, which means that you can communicate from wherever you're at. That you have a great idea sitting in the middle of the parking lot, pull out your phone, and you can share that idea. So at the very basic level, Twitter has its own website, twitter.com. That's where you can find that website. You can go in. That's where your basic account is, and you can then start communicating and also watching what other people are sharing with you and following the stream. Personally, I never go there. There's other tools that I use that help me manage it a little better, but at a very basic level, that's where you can go. As I indicated, cell phone, I use my cell phone quite a bit, that I will share messages on my cell phone. I don't use it a lot for reading, but that's just me. But I will use it that I see something or I capture an idea and I want to share it with others, that I will use my cell phone to do that. What I do use is some desktop applications, or actually web-based applications to do this. Either hootsuite.com or tweetdeck.com. Those are probably my two favorites that I use. And what that allows me to do is I can filter conversations. So I can look at, say, anyone that is tweeting within 100 miles of Jamestown. I can follow that stream or another city. Okay, so they're part of the search queries is you can set those up. You can look at it for, I have searches, for example, for JCC and Jamestown Community College, that anyone who happens to be typing that, I will see that stream. And then any other favorite words that, dealing with instructional design or e-learning or things like that, I'll follow conversations there. So that allows me to really filter what's happening through Twitter, get the information that I'm specifically looking for. And then I can respond to them, and maybe share information or point them to new resources because they happen to be interested in that moment if I happen to catch it. How much have you played with Twitter?
I mean, I have a Twitter account. I really don't use it that much. It's more occasionally for work things that it's really only work that I ever tweet anything about. It's more for recruitment.
Okay.
I don't use it a lot because it doesn't really, I mean, students are certainly using it, but Facebook has generally been more effective for us in using things. So yeah.
Well, some of these tools like Hootsuite gives you the capability of sending messages to multiple platforms at one time.
Yeah, and so I mean that's one thing that actually I use more is Instagram, and then I can send it to Twitter at the same time as Instagram. So I mean more often with recruitment, if I see a great photo or something like that, or something's going on, that's when I'll tweet. Is more often it's a photo from Instagram.
Okay. Very good.
But yeah, I haven't Content-wise, I usually leave that to our marketing department with different things that, you know, they'll publicize if we've got things going on Twitter. You know, so for instance, like our open house days, things like that with the main SUNY JCC, because I don't really put out there a whole lot for students, and I'm not the person that is generally having the most direct connections with students. It's usually the recruiters that are going out into the fields that are having more direct. And so we've talked about, you know, are there things that we would want to do with Twitter or Instagram or unique Facebook handles? How much do we want to separate out from the main JCC? How much do we want to dilute things, you know, or do we want to kind of be pushing them more towards there too? Do we want to have more direct relationships? So it's been
interesting
to try to figure out, you know, how we want to manage that.
Very good. Very good. So, well, with everything, it has its own way of doing messages. So it has its own jargon, and that's important to know if you're getting started. A tweet is simply a message that you would send. But if you want to reply to somebody, what you need to do is put the @ and their username and then send the message. So in this case, the one that I have circled in red is Siemens is sending to @mweller to respond to that message and letting them know, hey, I read it and this is my thoughts on that particular message. If you're retweeting is basically sharing what someone else has sent and pushing it back out there to your audience. And you know, you can look at it that you have these circles of followers, and somebody will send it, you're part of that circle, you send it, and it just kind of keeps growing. You know, so if in terms like recruiting, you push a message out and everyone else sends it out, their followers get it, who may not be on that you're following, and so it's a great way to disseminate information very quickly. So that's you know, probably a practice to, hey, keep an eye on this, retweet, you know, share the love. So, and direct messages, you start with a D, a capital D, and a space, and then just put their username, not with the @ but just a username, and that should be a direct message, one-to-one with the other individual. However, the fact that it's digital, just consider it public, right? Because that message could be sent out later. Twitter warns you about that. Hey, this was a direct message. Do you want to send it? But the rules for using Twitter keep changing, so just assume you put it out there. Okay. Hashtags are probably one of the most important tools to understand as far as Twitter. So hashtags, what they do is they basically kind of create a room for you. That if we were to, when you go to like the campus, you have all these separate rooms. And when you walk into this room, like 287, you have a conversation that's pretty much to that room. Somebody else can walk into our room and they can continue on with the conversation. Well, hashtags kind of work the same way. It's using the number sign with a #3 plus a unique word. Ideally, you probably want to see if this word is out there first, right? Sometimes you may run into trouble if you found a word that's being used and not necessarily for the reasons you want to use it. So make sure that you find a unique word and then publicize it. Let people know that you're using that word. And honestly, I would recommend just staying with that word. So JCC recruiting or JCC whatever, you know, join JCC.
JCC everything, or else we get the Jewish Community Center. But yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know, join SUNY JCC. And just use that everywhere. Put it, you know, put it on your literature. Put it everywhere. And then people will come and join that conversation. So it's a way of filtering it. So why would you want to use this tool in the first place? Advantages and disadvantages. First of all, You can keep the messages short, to the point, and folks can kind of skim through the content very rapidly and find content that they like, and dive right into that content. Sharing ideas, you can spread your idea and disseminate your idea further and faster than, say, if you were just putting an email one-to-one. Okay, that you can kind of shotgun it out, and other folks will continue to pass that message. You can get updates and kind of keep in touch from all these different devices, whether it's a computer, phone, tablet. Cars are starting to be built with it, so that's coming. However, there's some distinct disadvantages. One, it's a messy process. There is all kinds of traffic, but you have to think of it as a radio station. The information will be continuing on. So just like when you drive up and you're listening to the radio and you turn your car off and you get out, the conversation stop. It continues going, but you're not part of that conversation. When you get back in the car, you turn it on, you're back in the conversation, but it started at a different point, and you're just picking up where it is. Twitter is the same way, that the conversation just continues to move, and a lot of folks get a little frustrated because they want to read everything, especially when they're brand new. But you have to realize that's not possible. Don't try. Let the conversation go by, jump in, pick it up where you're at. And the other thing is, conversations are not linear. That there's multiple conversations going on. They're picking up at a different time and point all the time. And so you kind of have to follow some conversations a little bit to get the gist of them. Some folks are not succinct. They think that 140 characters is limiting. Twitter is planning to expand that, but then I think it'll be messy. I think it'll be just like the rest of the blogs. Blogs are great, but blogs are distinct. So I think having 140 characters, maybe 200 would be tops, but anything above that, then you won't have the same benefits of Twitter. But this can be constraining for some folks. They want to say so much, but they have to break it into multiple tweets. And if you do not filter it, if you do not use lists, if you don't use hashtags, if you don't do search queries, that Twitter is drinking from a fire hydrant. Here comes a stream that's all unconnected, and you're just getting so much of it. And so by leveraging these other pieces, you can keep a better eye on it, and it's more manageable. You may only have time to look at your favorite, the top recruiters in the nation list. What ideas do they have? And following that list, and you're able to get that information, without, oh, hey, I was just at Walmart, and that's part of it. Okay. Twitter is also a great feedback tool, that you can find it. So on the education side, that using Twitter in a classroom setting, that by assigning a hashtag, you can then hear what students are saying. If they're participating in Twitter, they can tweet to that hashtag and provide you feedback that they may not provide you face-to-face. For some reason, when we think we're anonymous, all right, folks are a lot braver and say things. Following research topics in real time. So one of my volunteer duties is I am the recruiting and retention officer for the Northeast region of the Civil Air Patrol. Mm-hmm. So I'm therefore interested in ideas of recruiting for a nonprofit organization and what they're doing, but also using that to communicate with all the other elements below me. And so I find Twitter is a great tool to tune in to what recruiters are talking about, what folks that are interested in retaining employees or volunteers are talking about, and so I dial in with Twitter to be able to do that. So very powerful tool for that. So in this case, I put the term informal learning into the search box, and anything that comes up with that specific phrase shows up. I can take that search and put it into TweetDeck or Hootsuite and follow that particular conversation. Anytime something new gets added with that phrase in it, it'll show up in that stream. Okay. And once again, in a classroom setting, one of the benefits is anybody who's normally quiet, because you do have some of those more alpha types that like to dominate the conversations. This gives everybody an opportunity. And as an instructor, it's possible to go out and just say, okay, I want everybody to tweet to this hashtag, answer this question, what do you think? And collect everybody's input. And so everybody gets a chance to speak. Where a normal class, you're just touching on 2 or 3 people, and you can't get to everybody in the class period. So ways to leverage this. Okay, some things to do prior to starting a class. You can start your class, put it in your syllabus well ahead of time, asking students why they were taking the class, what they're hoping to gain, all those type of questions. You can start asking that before you even started the term, preview week, or even before. Hey, you signed up for this class. What do you want to get out of it? So, finding out about what their goals are, why, once again, what they're hoping to gain. Okay? Doing icebreakers, using Twitter as an icebreaker tool, right? To get to know each other, get to see what their interests and likes are, and find that out well ahead of time. During class, this is probably when you're going to use it the most, is you can have students, part of an assignment, maybe follow specific individuals and report back to the class what things that they learned from that individual using Twitter. So following subject matter experts, and also their subjects that they happen to be following. This one happened to be on scientists. There's a number of scientists that are out there tweeting in a variety of different disciplines, and just following them and seeing what they have. They're sharing all kinds of wonderful information that could add to your classroom. Trending subjects. So recently we had the State of the Union. That was a trending topic. We had the Republican debates last night. That was a trending topic. Currently football is in the news. That is a topic. And every day the trending topics change a little bit on what's going on based on what's happening in the world. And this is a great way of keeping a finger on the pulse that you can share in your class. And it's you bring up Twitter's trending topics or trending tags, and you can see what's going on and maybe drill down into it and starting a class off by discussing what's happening in the news or that particular topic.
How can you go through local, like, trends if you're seeing, you want to focus on what's trending locally? Is there a way to do that? Well,
you can do a search query. So, for example, you type the word near : 14701, and that would show you, and then you can set a distance for like 25, 50 miles or whatever. But if using the word near :
is that just at Twitter's main site then that you were doing that?
No, I would do that. I can put that into, well, no, you put it into like Hootsuite or TweetDeck or anything that's leveraging Twitter. And
okay.
Yeah, and search.com or searchtwitter.com or search.twitter.com. So, also in the class, asking for feedback. Right, asking questions, asking So this was at a conference that I went to, and they used hashtag vet teaching, and informed everybody that there was an opportunity to share what they were experiencing, back to Twitter, and in some cases they would present it in the session. They would have a screen up and use what's called a program called Twitterfall, and it would you would see in real time the tweets that were dropping.
Twitterfall?
Twitterfall. Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay.
Remind me though, please.
Okay.
So, supporting the class between sessions, right? So you teach a face-to-face class, then you have a couple days before the next face-to-face class. Twitter, if they're using the hashtag, could be a great place where they can ask questions and get feedback. The rest of the students could jump in to get assistance. So that's a place. Okay. Place where you encourage sharing of materials, sharing ideas from the class, not just what's in face-to-face, but if you have this common hashtag that people warm up to, it becomes a communication channel for that particular class. So sharing, it's about sharing. You can have an online debate. So you can divide the class into two groups. So you're a pro, you're a con. Here's the issue. 140 characters. Why do you think this? Why do you think this? And just having an ongoing live debate while it's going on. Role play scenarios. We have, for example, nursing and OTA, outpatient therapy, that they do a lot of role playing. They have to work with somebody. So you can have somebody sit back and, I have this problem. And here you see it all documented and something that you can bring back to the class and debrief on. Have, reflecting on maybe a film they're watching that they can tweet in real time about that film, or chapters of the book that they're reading, or books that they're reading. Get their insights, and if everybody's reading the same thing, you can kind of discuss this and kind of tease it out during the class. Brainstorming sessions. What's your ideas? Everybody, what do you think? Let's get some ideas. And there's a lot, once again, a lot of tools that will allow you to present this in a classroom, and you can see these ideas coming up. You have programs like Poll Everywhere and TwitPoll that allow you to take surveys and Twitter surveys. And so individuals that are out there, they would tweet to us a certain number that you give them, and then that information would collect in the poll. You can ask open-ended questions or closed questions and try to get information that way. Language courses, using Twitter to practice, putting together sentences. And you can also do this with native speakers. So maybe not just in class, but also holding a conversation with somebody on the other side of the world. A little pen pal, you may say. Conducting various evaluations on what's going on in the course. Just asking, here's a couple questions. I want to get your feedback on this. And then finally, after class is done, doesn't mean your class has to stop. You can continue to use that hashtag to keep the conversation going. Maybe they're interested that's what they want to do in life. And so they want to continue discussing that. And so you can have a hashtag where they can continue these discussions. Also, once again, asking for feedback after the class. Keeping an open channel where they can continue to maybe share things or impressions that they had. So I captured all this from Jane Bozarth's book, Social Media for Trainers. ways to kind of use Twitter to leverage in the classroom. But let's go look at a couple tools that I have. So let me just make sure that we are still going. I'm back. No longer sharing the screen. Give me a second here and okay, I'm going to go and share, and we're going to show some Twitter tools real quick. So all right, let me minimize this. So one tool that's out there, and I mentioned, was called Twitterfall. So you have to authorize it with, you know, with your Twitter account in order to make it work. And we can add a search. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go. Probably should go to Twitter moments. Friday feeling, maybe. All right, let's try this one. Or Friday. I think I can get something with Friday. So what I'm going to do is toss that into a search, and we're going to see if we can get things, right? So this is how it comes in, that it'll start as people are responding and using that keyword Friday, that'll start dropping down. Now, naturally, if the conversation, you can have a very busy conversation, so it can speed up. Your queue may not be fast enough. You may need to slow it down, but it's a great tool for doing that. So, fun tool.
And so that will just automatically, there's no need to refresh at any point, right?
Nope, it'll just keep running down, which makes it great to set up in, you know, a hall or something. And, you know, so if
it's not the prettiest looking, but
no, well, you can. I think you can make some adjustments.
you?
Yeah, I haven't really played with it. Track messages, timeline, geolocation, right? So let me kill that search. So 14701. Oops.
So that's just bringing up everything, not, can you then, it looks like, probably do, if you wanted to see who is searching Friday within this area to narrow it down further?
You know, I don't know. I haven't played with this, you know, too much. It's just a tool I know that, you know, can we do this? So we have JCC in there mixed in somewhere. All right, JCC, Total Fitness. All right, so you just kind of keep an eye on what's going on. So you could set this up. Well, this looks like it's only for one location. So that's unfortunate. Instead of setting up multiple locations and being able to do that. Certainly, you know, search.twitter.com is a great place to go. So, for example, near 14701, right, that will bring up some, hey, what's for dinner tonight? Chicken cacciatore. Okay. Nice. It's my birthday. So, Well, happy birthday. And so we can share our goodwill. So let me pull up some other tools that I know are out there. We have a learning guide on this that we've put together. It's on off our website, tei.sunyjcc. And tools and methods. We have Twitter. And so Twitter, Hootsuite, TweetDeck, really powerful tools. There's some tools that you can schedule tweets. So one of the tools that I use, and it's not listed here, is called Tweet Jukebox. So you have Tweet Jukebox, and I'll sign in. And in this, what you can do is set up a collection of tweets that you want to go regularly. And for example, quotes. So I have 143 quotes that I have picked up, and I can just continue adding quotes to this, and they will go out basically every 6 hours and 4 minutes between 8 and 11 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you know, I can control what days that I want. 143 quotes at every 6 hours. It will go through the whole list randomly until the list is done, and then it will start the list again. Okay, so from a recruiting, why would there's and you can turn these jukeboxes on and off. So there may be something that as you're ramping up into one cycle that you want a list of messages to go out, but then at the end of the cycle you want a different list to go out, and so you can have various lists there.
Well, let me tell you why I'm primarily interested in this, because as I said, like, our marketing department handles a lot of the, they oversee the main SUNY JCC social media accounts, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, blogs that we have. But what I'm curious with doing are probably three main things. First one is actually coming up in a few weeks. We're showing a film to a high school audience.
Okay.
And I watched it, and frankly, it's a little dry, but educational at the same time. It's a documentary. But through it, there are questions posed in the movie that I'm wondering, and I'm a little nervous about it because it could get dangerous, telling a bunch of kids in a dry movie to pull out their phones if they want to. But is to try to get them to engage and tweet responses to some questions. So something like this could be good, where if we pre-programmed out at certain times that we wanted questions to be going out, and they could see it and then respond back to that. And I'm busy doing other things too, with
Sure.
getting lunch ready, at the end, I don't have time to necessarily sit there and be pushing these tweets out. This could be useful for that.
Well, I think what because it's, well, this also allows you to schedule tweets. Okay. So you can put the exact time and date you want a specific tweet to go out.
Yeah.
And you can stack up, I think, 50 tweets and make that happen.
Yeah.
So this is one tool. TweetDeck, Hootsuite, both allow you to do the same thing.
Yes, I knew that.
So you can schedule tweets, and it's good that you're thinking of it that way. So part of the film, hey, welcome to this film, blah, blah, blah. We got a question for you.
Yeah.
To this hashtag.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I'm a little nervous because it's a high school audience, not a college audience. So I don't know what we could get.
We'll find out if they're college material, won't we?
Yeah. And Twitter fall again could be something, because we're talking about, do we, and I don't know that we do want to necessarily show real-time tweets that are coming out, because certainly somebody could be
They could.
Putting out, you know, like this sucks, whatever, you know, through, of course, using it, but, you know, could keep the conversation going a little bit, you know, so everybody can see what's kind of going on. Twitter poll too, I think could also be useful as far as some of these, you know, questions that maybe, again, you know, with the movie, you know, it's a big topic.
I have to tell you, in all the years that I have been using this, I've never had an issue where somebody came in and disrupted it like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't happen, and that's the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying I've been involved in it a lot, and folks are pretty respectful in these type of environments.
What I'm hoping might happen.
You know, in the worst.
But, you know, one of the showings that we have is just 10th graders, so I'm going, okay, 15-year-olds that were, you know, letting, and you know, are they going to be texting with their friends too? You know, if you're saying their phones out, or okay.
And they can, and they would, but that's, you're not stopping that anyways.
Well, and you know, too, like I said, I don't know, we don't have a whole lot of students that are tweeting, so I don't know if Twitter's certainly best method for, you know, doing, like you say, real-time discussion on something like this. However, I don't know how many of the students are using Twitter and would be able to engage well with this.
So this is it's called trend maps. And so this shows, you know, what the popular conversations are happening out there. Right, and it's, you know, it may be an opportunity to jump in on somebody else's conversation or follow what's going on and interject. All right, so we have that. Paperly. Paperly is a newsletter program, so you can build a newsletter based on collecting tweets, and the ones I use are automated, so it's looking for certain hashtags and search phrases, and I'm pulling them from all kinds of resources and building newsletters, and that's how I do my professional development, pulling that information. So, you know, for example, so M Learning Daily, so this is a newsletter. So it's taking those tweets, pulling them together and displaying them a little nicer. So it includes videos, images and such.
How is it pulling it together? Because like as far as like Twitter poll, like I said, not the prettiest sort of thing, but this isn't doing like real time or anything, right?
No, it'll take a snapshot. So it'll send you a snapshot every 24 hours. Okay. So once a day it comes to my mailbox. Gives me a look at what's happening in my world and what people are sharing. So I think I have one for recruiting and retention somewhere in there, and collecting articles and seeing what people are doing. So scheduling, bunch of scheduling programs, a lot of different ideas in this, how folks are leveraging it for the classroom, ways that you can use it for conferences and events. So I pulled together a variety of things. Different directories where you can find like-minded people. Ways to leverage search better. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. So
the other way that, you know, I've wanted to use Twitter and have not had success with it has been at our open houses and trying to actually get people to tweet while they're there at our open house about what they're doing, about JCC, you know, what departments are you visiting, what presentations are you going to, do you have questions, you know, what did you see on the campus tour, different things that are going on. And I mean, I've even prompted to try to get them to go there created a sweets and tweets area by our refreshments. So we've got the cookies.
And are you displaying it?
We did in Olean. We had at the business table, actually, we had a computer set up where we had the Twitter feed, but we just kept hitting like refresh every so often to see what would pop up.
I would try Twitter Fall.
Yeah.
And have it, you know, sitting up in a corner and,
well, we weren't getting any, I mean, like we were pushing tweets out, but nobody was responding or doing them or would, you know, we can find it with our hashtags that we were throwing out there.
Sure. So, you know, one, you know, people have to warm up to these ideas. You know, some folks get it, some don't. But having it up in a corner, scheduling some tweets during that period of time, asking those questions, so you're not having to do it. You can mingle and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then every once in a while do it live. You know, what are you doing? You know, and like, hey, I heard somebody is interested in this. You know, but having it very big and visible and like, hey, we want to know what you're thinking. You know, share.
Yeah, and that's a possibility to have set up in one of the areas that we could do that, you know, slightly larger. But yeah, it hasn't been very successful. So that's another area where, you know, I'd like to try to get people to engage more and talk about it more and push, you know, JCC out there a little bit more too. The other area that we've kind of thrown around but we haven't done anything with is using it for scavenger hunts.
Scavenger hunts. Okay. Going to collect pictures and things like that.
Yeah, you know, and we haven't really used it that way at all before. We've done some scavenger hunts in different ways.
There's a program if you're interested in scavenger hunt. There's a program called Goose Chase.
Okay.
So let me see if I can find Goose Chase and it's I'm going to share my screen out once again. Scavenger hunts for the masses. So little program, how it works. So you have certain missions that they have to go and do. So
interesting. Okay, yeah, I'll go check that out because we've done a few different ones. Like there was a science-based scavenger hunt where they had to go around and identify trees on campus, but we used the low-tech way of they had to collect like ribbons that we tied onto the branches or things like that. Or we did a math scavenger hunt before where they had to go around and solve math problems that were posted up at different locations around campus and find the problem that we posted. But, you know, there could be ways to integrate it more.
Sure.
For some of our visits, make the tours more interesting than just a regular tour. If we've got a group coming in, you know, have them engage with the food.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to stop this broadcast. We can continue on. So, hey, folks, I see I have one viewer down there. Thank you for coming to join us. And if you have questions, just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to answer it. I work at Jamestown Community College. Stan Scrabbit. You should be able to find me. So, thanks for attending, and for those that are watching in the future. Bye for now.